Hi guys, and welcome back to this tutorial on Unity. In this section, what we will do is start to add a texture to our box. So again, if you remember well in the last section, we created a cube using game object, 3D object, and cube, and we basically applied different type of transformations. So to start with, we're going to change the scale of this cube so we're going to change the position to 0 and 0 on all axes, and then basically change the scale to 100, 1 and 100. So again, it's going to be the ground for next scene. So again, as you can see, I'm going to move out. To move out again, I'm just using the mouse wheel for or back to be able to move in or move or to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so that's done. So when this is done, basically you can do a lot of different things. You can rename it. If you double click again, if you right click, sorry, you can have different options. So again, I could call it ground if I wanted to. So again, I just right clicked on it and then selected rename, the option rename. And when this is done, I'd like to add a texture to my ground. So again, what I will do is in the resource pack, you should have a folder here with a lot of different resources, including a tile, right? An object or a file called tile. So I'm going to take this object and again drag and drop it to Unity. Okay, so once this is done, you should have this object here called tile. So again, I'm going to take it back and drag and drop it onto the actual ground. Done. So as you can see here, my tile has been stretched to actually match the size of my ground, which is great. However, what I'd like is to be able to have this pattern repeated several times on the ground. So to do so, you should see that after applying the tile texture to my ground, a new folder called material has been created. It's right there, okay? And what it should include is an asset of type material, which basically stores information about how this kind of tiling or tile texture should be used. So if I double click on materials, you could see that now I've got something called tile, which is a material. Okay, and if I look in the inspector window, I've got a few options here. So the first thing is tiling. That's the one that we're interested in. So again, you can see that now the tiling is 1. So again, basically just use the image is just used once and stretched to fill the surface of the ground. What I'd like to do now, I'm going to tile it several times, maybe 5 times. I'm going to use 5 here and 5 here. And now you can see that the tiling is very different. Okay, so again, it's repeated 5 times. Okay, so that's about it. Now, if you wanted, again, the game view won't show us anything because the camera is not exactly pointing at the ground. But if you wanted it to point at the ground, what we should be able to do is to change the position of the camera to put it slightly above the ground. And again, keep it center. So I'm going to put 0 on the X, 10 on the Y, and 0 on the Z. And again, for rotation, I'm going to rotate it around the X axis. That's it, and 0 here. So if you look at the game view again, now you can see it's a bit different. And again, if I increase the value for the Y here, you can see that now you should see a bit more of this ground. So again, what I've done is quite simple. I created a brand new box, changed its name to ground, change the scale to 100, 100. Then I imported a brand new textures. I drag and dropped it into the assets folder here and applied it onto the ground. Finally, I went to materials and again tile that was created after applying this texture to the ground. And again, I went to tiling and modified the tiling X and Y attributes so that my image is tiled several times over this box. Okay, so that's it. In the next section, we'll have a look at more information on tiling and colors and texture as well. So I hope it's clear. And again, if it's not, you should be able to see more of that in the next sections.